might not be forever, but if it's forever, it's even better. And I don't know what I'm crying for. I don't think I could love you more. It might not be long, but baby, I'll love you till the day that I die. Till the day that I die.
All right. Hello. We are live at the Temple Science Education Research Center, room 306. My name is Professor Applebaum. This will be section 2 of my capstone final project demos. So you might be wondering, unless you tuned in this morning or just literally don't know what a capstone is, what is capstone? So the capstone is the culmination of all of our students' learning throughout the past 4 years. It involves all of their previous coursework, outside experiences, and anything else they can use to build their final projects as a team. And this creates really unique challenges because working in a team-based environment isn't easy. So Temple has a really good motto coined by Russell Conwell, the founder of Temple. It's perseverance conquers. Through consistent effort and determination, individuals can overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. My students prove this to me every semester as they pull together these really tough projects after just 16 weeks. And one of my goals as an instructor is to make sure that the projects that they actually pursue or work on is really meaningful, impactful, and something that they can like put on their resume and use to go forward in life and feel like they've really achieved something. And students really heavily collaborate using industry tools such as Jira project management. They do all of their planning and estimating through this tool throughout the entire semester. It is challenging because, for the most part, you don't really get access to these types of tools unless you're, in industry or in an internship. So, it's a great way to kind of just get your toe wet into this environment. We also ask students to heavily document their projects and code. We use a tool called Docosaurus. It's a modern web-based documentation framework. And we ask them to, use this tool from proposal to API specification, architecture, and requirements. Just everything is in these documents. So there's a large part of this course is writing. And then students also heavily collaborate using tools such as GitHub to actually collaborate on their code, integrate their code together, and work as a team. This presents a lot of interesting issues around just like trying to make sure that you merge at the right time and put these pieces of code together. It's not as straightforward as you might imagine. And a lot of students use modern tools, languages, and frameworks such as Next.js for developing web apps. And they even take on challenges of learning technologies that have a really steep learning curve, like Docker. And a lot of these top languages that are used in the class aren't even actually covered generally by our curriculum, but our students are able to adapt to these new languages and challenges because we've challenged them in their 4-year journey by our Java programming courses, advanced programming and C courses, and any just general outside experiences such as hackathons and internships also utilize a lot of these different frameworks. You can see probably the topmost language used is JavaScript, followed by TypeScript. These are really, really modern and heavily used tools. So one thing that's pretty crazy about this semester is that we actually have 12 projects. Typically, we don't have that much from just me. I typically maybe take on 8 projects. There's 12 in this course. So throughout the day or the rest of the day, you're going to see projects that students have worked on. This semester, our students' projects are deeply connected to human-computer interaction research, exploring how users engage with technology in educational, creative, and security-focused contexts. AI intervention techniques in education focus on how artificial intelligence can support and enhance learning experiences. Collaborative AI systems explore how AI can work alongside users to create and improve content. And lastly, the alternative augmentative communication games projects focus on developing accessible and engaging experiences through games for children with communication difficulties. So without further ado, this will be our session for this today. Piggyback Learning, OrderUp, and Piglet Prep and Feedstack will be the lineup for today. And if you're still with us later, you can tune back in at 3:30 to 4:50 for Story Builder, G-Code Guard, Story Builder again, and BioGenie. So really looking forward to seeing what you guys have to present for us. And yeah, I'll turn it over to Piggyback Learning. Great job. Hmm? Actually be starting with OrderUp, just switching it around.
Hello everyone, my name is TJ McBride.
My name is Jonathan.
I'm Addison.
I'm Akil. I'm Seth. I'm Matt. No Andre.
And today we will be presenting our AAC game, OrderUp. What is AAC? AAC stands for Alternative and Augmentative Communication, which is anything that adds or substitutes verbal speech. It can be anything from as low-tech as gestures, or for the context of this class, we mean a more high-tech solution, like a tablet running something like this. This is an AAC board, which allows users to build sentences with text-to-speech. This technology is mostly used, or will be intending to use for autistic children and people with other communication difficulties. But especially with children, this technology has a couple of issues, and we'll be going over what issues our technology is trying to solve today, and I'll leave it to Addison.
So one of the major barriers for children who use AAC is that, especially at a young age, we're talking kindergarten, first grade, other children who don't use AAC aren't always as patient as we'd like them to be. It takes oftentimes longer for someone using AAC to communicate their thoughts, because using such a board, they have to select their sentences, their words to build up these sentences. So it often leads to social isolation. So our goal with this project was to familiarize both AAC and non-AAC users with the same interface, the AAC board, as a central means of communication in the game. That way, it gets everybody on the same even playing field, and it also kind of gets everyone familiar with what the children who do use AAC have to use every day.
All right, and we will leave it to Seth to kick us off.
Hey Akil, I've been playing this really cool game called OrderUp. It's a collaborative cooking experience. Do you want to play with me?
Yeah, sounds fun. Let's do it.
Awesome. So I'm gonna create a lobby and then I'm gonna give you a code to join.
Sounds good.
Onion, tomato, lettuce.
Okay, and I can just join using this button.
Awesome. And on my end, I can see that you got in. So I'm gonna start the game and you're gonna see that it's gonna put us at 2 different stations. Looks like I got the burger station.
And I got the manager station. Okay, it looks like I have a tutorial here, so I'll go through this.
Click the pictures on the board to tell the employees what the customer wants. When the employees finish the order, click the button to give the food to the customer.
Okay, so it looks like I can use this board to tell Seth the customer's order, so I'll start doing that.
Bottom bun.
And I already know how to play, so I'm gonna skip the tutorial. And I didn't hear the first part of that, so I'm just gonna go and repeat the order.
Repeat the order. Bottom bun.
I'm
Bottom
gonna click
bun.
bottom bun.
Tomato.
I'm gonna build the
Tomato.
burger.
Tomato. 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 Onion. Onion. Top bun. Top bun.
That's a great burger. So I'm gonna go over and send that back.
Order up.
Okay, yeah, now I can see the burger on the counter next to the customer, and it looks like it's correct, so I'll send it to the customer.
Wow, we made $5 and have 1 happy customer. Good job.
Thank you.
Hey guys, we were watching over off to the side here, and this game looks really fun. Is there any chance that more people could play?
Yeah, of course. There's actually 2 other stations, so we can play with up to 4 people. I'll make a new lobby and I'll send you guys the game code.
Thank you.
I'll create a lobby, and I'm gonna copy the link, and I'm gonna send it over to you guys.
Awesome. Looks like I'm in.
Awesome.
And I'm into it.
Awesome. So you'll see when we join, we're all gonna be sent to random stations. Looks like I got the drink station.
I got the burger station. I got the manager station.
And I'm the side station.
Okay, well, I watched how to play, so I'm gonna skip that. And I'm gonna start with the burger order.
Bottom bun. Mustard. 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 Onion. Onion. Top bun. Top bun.
Awesome. I'm gonna send that over.
Order up.
Okay, I see I got the burger. Now I'm gonna get to the drink.
Soda. Purple. Large.
Awesome. So I got a large purple soda. So I'm gonna click large.
Large.
Bring it over to
Purple.
purple, and then fill. I'm thirsty. So I'm gonna hit send.
Order up.
Awesome, I see the drink. Now the customer also asked for fries, so I'm gonna let them know.
Fries.
So I'm the side employee. I'm not really sure what's going on here, so I'll go through the tutorial.
Listen for the order from the manager, then click an ingredient to place it on the table. Next, chop the food. Click and drag the food into the fryer and wait until it's done.
Okay.
When you're done, click to send the burger to the manager.
Okay, so the customer asked for fries, so I'll choose the potatoes.
Potato.
And then I'll chop them. And then I'll drag them into the fryer. And they're ready to send.
Order up.
Awesome, I see everything on my screen. I'm gonna hand it to the customer.
Wow.
Yeah, we made 12 bucks.
Good job, guys.
All right, we got new roles this time.
Alright, looks like I'm the manager now. I was paying attention, so I'll go through. And I'll start with the burger order.
Bottom bun. Bottom bun. Mustard.
So mustard,
Mustard. Lettuce.
lettuce,
Lettuce. Ketchup.
ketchup,
Ketchup. Tomato.
tomato.
Tomato. Top bun. Top bun.
Another very delicious burger.
Order up.
Okay, and now we'll start with the sides this time to give them more time.
Fries.
Alright, yeah, so I heard.
And while he's working on
Potato.
that, I'll send the drink order over.
Soda. Blue. Small. Small. Blue. Order up.
I'm good, I'll send it over.
Order up.
And looks like we have everything, so I'll send the orders to the customer. And looks like we have another customer coming, so this time I think I'll start with the drink.
Soda. Yellow. Small. Small. Yellow.
And then the side.
Onion rings. Onion. Bottom bun. Mustard. Bun. Lettuce. Mustard. Tomato. Top
This
bun.
is getting too much. Let me request the order to be repeated.
Repeat the order.
Yeah, I can repeat that for you.
Bottom bun. Mustard.
Mustard,
Lettuce.
got the lettuce,
Tomato.
got tomato.
Tomato. Top bun.
Got top bun. Gotcha.
Top bun.
Send that over.
Order
looks like we have everything, so I'll send it to the customer. And we completed the day.
Wow.
2 happy customers.
And 24 bucks.
All right, take us away, John.
So it's important to note that while we demonstrate the game being played with 4 neurotypical players, the AAC features that we added make the game accessible to someone that is nonverbal or needs AAC to communicate with other people.
Anything else?
Any questions now?
Okay, so it's question time?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Good job. I do really like that you incorporated the sort of like tutorial that we talked about the last demo. That really is it's very useful, and I like that it's using audio cues too. That's really important. You know, because it could walk you through, but if you're nonverbal and you can't read, that is a very useful, accessible technique. All right, my mind is moving now. So, how did you kind of like pull off this kind of system with all of these different players playing in the same game, playing in, using the same boards? How did you do that?
So basically, when we create the lobby, if you create the lobby, you instantly join the lobby, and you make a WebSocket connection with the server. So we have a running server, and each time anyone joins, they also make a WebSocket connection. So now that every single person has a WebSocket connection to their server, anytime an event happens, you can send out a message and broadcast it to everyone else, so everyone else can see it on their screen happening.
So with the buttons that you use to control the game and create the orders and stuff, how did y'all do that? Did y'all make like custom buttons? Did you import anything from any external like libraries? I'm just curious how you did that.
Yeah, so it was a mix of both. Some of them we were able to find like some free assets online, and some were taken like from some like AAC resources that you shared with us. Others were like made by hand, slightly like using Figma and some like simple shapes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the artwork. We made the board itself by ourselves.
It's beautiful.
So, how did you, come to the like design conclusions that you made for like making this application accessible and make sense for nonverbal users?
I think a lot of it was stakeholder feedback. So stuff from Cindy was especially important because obviously we're not AAC users and we're making a system for AAC users. So stuff like everything being a button here and everything having text to speech, like I think originally we didn't want everything to be text to speech. Like you heard when the manager and the burger station are like relaying orders, it can kind of be a bit much, but it was kind of Cindy's decision where it's like, I think it's still really important to have this text to speech so everyone kind of knows what's going on. And even without any communication, like the manager knows what the progress is on every station, when repeat orders are requested and just stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing for helping with design was the stakeholder feedback.
One thing I really loved about the design and what we came up with was basically the AAC user could be the manager, so they could be the main focus of the game, and all the attention's on them, and everyone has to be empathetic and accommodate the fact that they are listening to the orders from the manager using the AAC devices. But if they don't want to do that, they can still play the game completely fine while being in one of the other like backwards roles where they just listen to the orders and complete it. And the things we added where you could clearly see and hear what each employee was doing at the stations. So if the AAC user is at the stations, it's still very, very clear what they're doing on their screen.
Yeah, that was one design principle we were focused on, was making sure that we wanted to limit the possibility that players got bored or weren't sure what other players were doing. So we wanted constant audio feedback, like you mentioned, so that if you're sitting at your station wondering what's happening, you can actually hear what the other players are doing.
Oh, so this was the end of day 2. The orders scale per day, so there's a total of 5 days. So on day 1, 1 order, 2 orders on day 2, and etc. And it goes until day 5. But obviously that take a bit, so we only went to the second day.
And then for you assign money earned at the end of the day. How is that impacted by, I guess, what orders are served to customers, if at all, or is it just a flat rate for completing the order?
So the way we have it computed is you get a flat amount for submitting anything, and you get additional amount for getting it correct. So I think we didn't get anything wrong, but
Let's go, guys.
but the orders are graded based on correctness, but there's also like a flat amount that you get every time.
Do you want to send an incorrect burger and we can just show how it's like, I think it's like a $3 flat rate and then the extra $2 are bonus.
OrderUp.
Just send it through.
Yep. And so only one thing was sent,
Yeah,
so.
to finish the rest of the day.
Well, you can see the square at
You
the
can
top.
see it up
Yeah.
there. It only went up like $4.88, but if you got it completely right for the burger, it's actually $5.
And obviously for the other stations.
Yeah, and if we did the other stuff, it also would have added more money.
It's based on how close you are, but also the reason for this was we didn't ever want to say, like, we thought about, oh, should we do like a star system, but it's like a bad feeling when you're like, oh, I got 0 stars in my order. So we want to keep it like, getting it right is a bonus more than the requirement.
Not punishment.
Yeah.
So on each of the roles, you have the communication options in different locations. Is there any kind of, like, what's kind of going on with that?
I think it's just how each station kind of developed on their own. Like, I think at the start we had one person on their own, like, designated station, and that's kind of how we set it up. So some stuff kind of got standardized, like this delete button was standardized between all of them, but I think the standard layout between all of them was kind of just made by each person. So it wasn't like standard. We didn't have any sort of standard. It was just kind of going as we go.
Just to be clear, the only one that's actually intended to be an AAC board is the manager view. So that's why it's in the grid format. The rest of them are, although I can see how they do look similar, they're essentially just, that's the buttons of the station, not intended to be fully like an AAC board.
So now that you've completed a project that is revolved around AAC users and empathy building for people that that you may have never even met, is this something that you could see working on in the future? Like, would you be interested in research around these areas? Yeah, that's basically the question.
I think so. I think it's interesting trying to solve problems using technology, not just like, oh, we're making some sort of game, but there's an actual purpose to this. There's reasoning that this can be used somewhere else and this can make an impact on someone else's life. I've only really started doing research work this semester, and I've been very interested by it.
Yeah, one thing I found really interesting about this project specifically was first, like, it really felt like, oh, we're making a game with an AAC board. And that kind of just felt like, oh, you could just play any game and then bring an AAC board with you and use it along with the game. But the way we designed the game, it really is like the driving factor where you are relaying the order, and the good way to do that is using the AAC board, since it has the exact ingredients you need for building burgers and the drinks and the sides.
Would you recommend future Capstone students work on AAC-related projects in the future if I happen to bring them back into the course?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think the interesting part about projects like this is that they're very open-ended, where there's a lot of different ways that the game could go. Like one of our first ideas in our design stage was we were going to make Go Fish, but that we ended up going in a completely different direction from that, and I think we're happy with the way we went.
Yeah, specifically for card games, like you can play them without speaking most of the time. So it really makes sense to make a game and design a game where you have to speak to play.
Okay. Great demo. The project looks great.
Yeah, great. Give it up to OrderUp.
Thank you so much.
All right, Piglet next.
I think. Oh wait.
Make sure these. This is gonna make sure stand up. No, you're all right. That's it.
Okay.
We must simple. Yeah. We have to use that.
Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Sophie.
I'm Andrew. I'm Noel.
I'm Ernest.
I'm Haram.
I'm Henry.
And we're excited to introduce Piglet Prep, an interactive video learning platform powered by AI. Piglet Prep is a site that helps improve story comprehension for kids. Our platform comes preloaded with 5 educational and engaging videos and periodically stops and generates quiz questions to keep kids actively engaged in the video content. Our use of LLMs lets us create fresh and dynamic questions every time. At the end of each video, learners get instant feedback with a detailed score recap, including questions answered correctly, incorrectly, and total time spent answering questions. From a research standpoint, our built-in metrics dashboard tracks how children are learning by providing a breakdown of the effectiveness of each video aggregated over the total sessions. This data can then be exported for more in-depth research on how to better teach story comprehension and engagement in kids today. With Piglet Prep, we're making video learning smarter, more interactive, and measurable. While we university students are not the intended audience for this site, we'll be role-playing to show how the intended users and researchers can use our project.
For this demo, I'll be playing the role of a child.
And I'll be a parent helping a child use Piglet Prep for the first time.
And then I'll be the researcher in charge of the website. Alright, let me make sure that the share sound, blah, blah, blah.
All that lives up to the saying,
We're just testing the audio.
you are what you eat. It's probably the giant panda.
I'm bored.
Hey Noel, why don't we check out this brand new fun video player?
And what does it do?
Yeah, I'll ask you questions as you go through the video, so make sure you pay extra attention and follow along with the story. Why don't we go through some videos together?
Yeah, let's try it out.
Let's choose a video that sounds interesting to you. Looks like you can see what each video is about if you hover over it.
Can we do this one about the sun?
Yeah, great choice. Looks like you can customize settings. Let's turn off object detection questions for now. Let's make the subject nature and animals, and let's make the questions rewind if you get it wrong.
The sun is light. The sun is warmth. The sun is daytime.
Looks like we have our first question. Were you paying attention?
Not really, but I'll see.
Here
if I
we
can do my
go.
best.
Question time. What does the sun provide to plants and animals during the day?
I'm gonna say shadow.
Oh, looks like you got it wrong, but it's gonna rewind so you can try again. Let's pay more attention this time.
The sun is light. The sun is warmth. The sun is daytime.
Let's try again. Did you hear it this time?
Yeah, I was paying attention. I think it's B.
Nice, great job. Let's keep going.
All of this is true. The sun gives us light, warmth, and energy. And today we'll talk about what the sun is and why it is so important for everyone living on the planet Earth, which means for all of us. The sun is a star, and it's the closest one to the Earth. The sun is huge and very hot. How huge?
Looks like we have our second question. Let's see if you're paying attention.
Oh, this one's easy. The sun is obviously a star.
Nice, great job. Do you want to keep going or do you want to look at a different video now?
We can try a different one out.
Sure, let's try out some other features. Which video were you thinking?
I like tigers. How about the tiger video?
Yeah, great choice. Let's do object detection questions this time. Let's make the topic math and animals, and let's make it auto skip.
With their signature orange fur and black stripes, tigers have become icons of beauty, power, and the importance of conservation. Tigers have evolved into 6 subspecies. The tiger's tale of evolution can be traced back to about 2 million years ago, when the earliest known tiger ancestor left Africa and ventured into Asia. Over time, the big cat split into 9 subspecies, with 6 still alive today.
Looks like we have another question. I already like this video a lot more. It says, what is the total number of tiger subspecies that are still alive today?
I don't know. I think they said 6 or 9. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with 9.
Oh, it looks like you got it wrong. But since we have autocorrect on, it will show you what's correct and we can just keep going. It looks like it was 6.
Okay.
The most numerous subspecies is the Bengal tiger, accounting for approximately 50% of the tiger population worldwide. Tigers are the world's...
Oh, this looks like an object detection question. It says to click on the tiger.
Oh, that's easy. The tiger's right there.
Yeah, it's right there. Nice.
largest cats. On average, the big cats weigh about 450 pounds, but the largest is the Siberian tiger subspecies, measuring up to 13 feet long and weighing up to 660 pounds. This extra weight is primarily...
Oh, another question. It says, what is the maximum weight a Siberian tiger can reach?
I just saw that on there, but I don't remember. I'm going to go with C.
Nice, 660 pounds, that's correct.
Because of large, powerful muscles. Unlike lions, the second largest of the big cats, tigers have more muscle mass and are therefore heavier. Tigers have webbed toes. Often living near bodies of water, tigers have adapted for a semi-aquatic lifestyle.
Oh, we have another question. It's asking, what special feature do tigers have that help them live near water?
I don't really know. Can I have some help from the audience for this one? What do you guys think it is?
Web toes.
Web toes? Okay.
Long tail. Isn't the long tail like propeller?
Long tail? Oh, let's try long tails. Oh, that's not it.
Oh, looks like it's wrong. It turns out it is web toes. Let's keep going though.
They appear to enjoy being in the water, unlike most cats, and are excellent swimmers, using their powerful muscles to propel their bodies in the water. They've also evolved to have webbing between their toes. The webbing allows the big cats to push around a greater volume of water with each stroke of their paws. White tiger.
Looks like we have another object detection question. It's asking for you to click the tiger again.
Oh, I've never seen this type of tiger. It's not on the right side there.
It's actually right here. Yeah, it's actually right here. Sometimes they have different pigments.
Tigers are a type of Bengal tiger. The classic black and orange coloration of most tigers is caused by the pigments eumelanin, which turns fur black, and pheomelanin, which turns fur orange. The production of pheomelanin is triggered by the gene SLC45A2. White tigers carry a mutation.
Looks like we have our final question. I think we're nearing the end of the video.
Cool. Let's see what it is.
What color is a normal tiger's fur, primarily due to the pigment called phomelinin?
Oh, that's so easy.
Nice. Let's go to the
Mutated
rest
version
of
of
the video.
this gene, which prevents them from producing orange pigmentation. Fewer than 4,000 tigers remain in the wild. At the turn of the 20th century, approximately 100,000 tigers roamed the wild, living as far west as Turkey and as far north as Russia. But due to deforestation, human development, and poaching, their range severely decreased, and within 100 years, the world's tiger population declined by about 96%.
I think this is our last question. Let's see how you're paying attention.
Oh, it's right there on the screen. 3,800.
Nice.
Over the past few decades, programs have been put in place to protect tigers and their habitats. With the help of the global community, tiger populations may slowly rebound.
Looks like that's the end of the video. How do you like this so far? Do you like getting questions throughout the video?
Yeah, that was fun. Some of them were really easy, but some of them I wasn't paying attention, so it'll help me learn better moving forward.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're able to learn more using these. Let's see how you did. Looks like you got 5 correct and 2 wrong. That's pretty good overall.
Hey, I'm Rahad, the researcher. I was wondering if I could look at the Piglet Prep website to see the data that has been captured recently.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let me put my very secret password. All right, okay, so it looks like at the top headline banner, I can actually see that there's already been 272 course sessions that has been launched so far, which shows and summarizes all the learning activity that has been done. Here on the first graph, it looks like that I can see all the total attempts that was taken for each video. And it seems like tigers is actually the most popular one out of all of them, with giant pandas a bit under. Seems like not a lot of people like Australia though, so maybe I should remove that and add something else. Also I have another metrics graph that actually shows the amount of correct for each video, as well as the incorrect and the hints used for each one. And finally, pick a date. Let's see, let's try, I think last Wednesday was a pretty popular day. Let's see how those metrics look like. Oh, okay, I see. It looks like I have a graph that shows each video and all the metrics that are recorded with it. So it looks like for total attempts, giant pandas had 35, Australia had 12, and tigers had 16. And then it looks like if I click on incorrect answers, it says giant pandas had 25. And let's see, Australia had 2, tigers had 4, and then it looks like that giant panda had an average time of answer per attempt 4 seconds. Looks like Australia had 3, and tigers had 25 seconds to answer. Looks like some people are having issues with tigers video. Well, that's all that we have today for our tour during Piglet Prep. Thank you for your time. I'm happy to take any questions.
Yeah, I love the improvements from the last time around. Like, this is fantastic. I'm curious, so we talked about doing image-based or subtitle-based question generation. What did you end up using for?
So after finally going through all of it, I didn't have the time amount that I thought I could to be capable of differentiating when I can make it so that it either uses just a transcript or the transcript along with the image or just the image itself. So honestly, I focused on more the stuff that Rahad was saying, specifically the subject focuses. So you can see anytime you click a video, you can pick whichever ones you want them to focus. So then I can actually send the ChatGPT all the ones that the user input, whether they want mathematical type of questions, animals, and if it was applicable from the image that was given to ChatGPT and the transcript that had it for the past 20 seconds the video was playing. It was both of the two things, but I wasn't able to differentiate it. So it does it. So like, this one time it's just image. This one time it's just, if you want just a transcript or you just want the screenshot and get the answer just from there. So
The questions that would also Are they like are these typically the quality of questions that you get?
Yeah, like you could see like in the mathematical one, like if I picked like nature and animals for that same targets video and I went continuing on, you would see that it wouldn't talk about the subspecies and be like, oh, how many are still alive? Because obviously mathematical wasn't one of the subject focuses that the kindergarten was looking through. Yeah, so yeah.
The computer vision model perform with like a video that has multiple tigers on the screen, or like how does it make that determination to like just jump in and go, oh, there's a tiger on the screen?
Okay, so that's for the object detection questions, correct? So that was one of the biggest issues I could kind of see with our getting our object detection questions is that we actually had to configure what times the questions actually pop up. So multiple choice questions, they all have the same amount of time. Still does it at the same exact time, just as it did just now. And the same thing for the object detection questions. So when we went through each video, we actually manually looked at, we used the generate multiple choice question and checked to see that recognition actually recognizes the object that's on the screen. So determining the time intervals was like something that we actually required to do because recognition, at least the model that they currently have now, isn't always capable of determining what's on the actual screenshot every time. Like there's a good chance that if I actually did an object detection question right now, it wouldn't even notice there's a tiger right there. So I had to make sure that I manually did it for the 27 or the 47-second mark when it shows the orange tiger and the one for the white tiger, because it was always a great confidence interval and it was always guaranteed that it would actually make a clickable element where the tiger was. And then just in the off chance that it doesn't, I had the skip detection question button that pops up a few seconds after, just in case they're unable to click it or they don't know where the object is.
The algorithm thing?
Sorry, repeat that?
The segmentation algorithm, was it segment anything or did you?
I think we use Interdino.
We use AWS.
AWS, yeah.
For all the object detection. And another note on the quality of the recognition. Since it's a cloud service, it does allow for future purposes like more fine tuning. If we were to provide more further data for it to become better. So that's like an additional pipeline we could potentially add.
So most segmentation algorithms don't work well for cartoons. One question I have is, if you had the image of like a cartoon and you have the transcript, have you tried using that, not with the object detection, but with the ChatGPT and getting a response on that? Like, does it generate okay questions for like a cartoon video with transcripts?
For the multiple choice? Yeah, it works perfectly fine. So like for our son, we had no issue with that. And actually recognition didn't have an issue looking at object detection questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there was actually, it's very finicky when it came to the model. There should be objects that like me blatantly, I could tell that like, oh, that's the sun. But it wouldn't even notice the sun and just see the airplane. So that was like one of the questions we have for the object detection question. When it pops up and the sun rises up, you'll see that it says, oh, click on the airplane. And if I click on the airplane, recognition notices only just the airplane. Doesn't notice the sun.
Since it's also taking a transcript, it's fine for generating the MCQ questions. Yeah.
So it can kind of do it even without the image. Like the image helps,
the image helps, but it's mainly based from the transcript for the MCQ, and then it's visually for the object detection.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Like most of my question already been asked by Steve and Ian. So I have only one. That is like, have you guys any like chance to do any usability test with your little brother or sister?
No, I actually haven't. I was thinking about it when I came back home last weekend, but I didn't think our product was good enough to the point where I wanted to make sure that like there was no issues. Like I knew that this past weekend was like the final, like we have to make sure that everything is fine-tuned, that anyone they can go in there and look at our deployment website is going to be capable to run this app with no issues whatsoever. But I was thinking about doing it. It was a good idea to do.
Yeah, so another question is like, there are feedbacks and there are like intervention, like pausing the video. So what's your thoughts on this kind of like feature? What's your thought if you actually apply this kind of like feature with the children? Does it actually disencourage them to see the video? So
We think it'll make it more engaging because they're kind of forced to pay attention in order, at least if you turn off the auto skip, in order to progress through the rest of the video, they have to pay attention to get the answer.
Yeah, and another thing too was the penalty options we only currently have right now was rewinding the video and auto skipping. But one thing that you were talking about before that I was thinking would be a better idea is kind of having some type of incentive where it's like points by points. If you answer the question by a certain amount of times, by the least amount of attempts, it would give you points. It would kind of give incentive for them to actually engage into it. Because right now, I mean, it's just them watching the video, and if it's on auto skip, I mean, they don't really have to watch the video. It's just going to give them one chance to answer the question and then continue on to the video. Well, with rewind video, they actually have to be engaged with the video. Every 20 seconds is going to keep going back and back until they click the skip question or they finally pick the right answer.
And the last thing is about like feedback. Like last version of your system, you showed that like your system actually identifying like with a bounding box that here is the like tiger and is the like goats or dogs. So when you click wrong answer, it will be better to show with the bounding box this is the right answer or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that was the only issue or something that I was trying to implement but didn't really have enough time is to kind of get feedback like, oh, that's the wrong thing. And then if they click the skip detection button and that box was generated correctly, then it would actually display from transparent to actually show where they should have clicked.
Nice, thank you so much. Yeah. I know there are a lot of like technical challenges out there. People don't understand that how much complicated some of the tasks are.
Definitely.
But I think you have done a great job.
Thank you.
There is one, just so I want to know, let the YouTube audience know that I see them. One of my favorite alumni, Snar, as now most of his questions have been answered by the object detection questions. He has that he's curious, would the application work on like different screen sizes, like your iPad, phone, like what's kind of constraining here? Is it always like a large screen, or can you see it on like mobile?
Yeah, I actually attempted to use it on my phone last week, and it seems like it has no issue, at least with the multiple choice questions, and I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be capable of getting a tap on the screen for those object detection questions. So I think it should be applicable, definitely on an iPad, but iPhone, I mean, there's only so much screen you can use. I mean, the quiz sidebar, when I had it on my phone, it took a lot of the space that pops up right over the video. So like, obviously an iPad would be a better screen size for it to run. But
I can see our YouTube retention is going up.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I understand the target audience here, and I understand what you're trying to accomplish. Do you see any limitations in terms of the sophistication of the script? If you provided any type of data that you would be able to generate something like this, and I'm thinking more in terms of corporate capabilities, corporate training, synergy, in that type of area. Healthcare is where I'm at, and one of the issues is keeping people that are going to clinical trials engaged in the material that you're presenting to them. And this strikes me as very interesting if you could get the AI to understand what the visuals are on the screen, upscale the questions, and maybe spread them out so they weren't quite as obnoxious.
Yeah.
It would be an amazing way of, if you think that this has the scale to do something like that. I guess that's my question.
I think, yeah, definitely. I think this is definitely capable of scaling to be capable of making those questions where the answers are pretty different in between and have unique answers. The ChatGPT model, we actually use ChatGPT for our AI for the multiple choice question prompt, but we actually use the old 4.0 model. So because that was the cheapest, and we're college students, we didn't want to spend that much money worried about credits, so we decided to just worry about 4.0. But I could definitely see something where using 0.3 or 4 mini and being capable of giving a descriptive enough prompt for ChatGPT for it to be capable of giving those type of things for the scalability of the type of answers you want.
Yeah, something we would have liked to do if we had more time for future iterations is also questions or the frequency of the questions are being asked. Obviously we only have a semester, so we really just wanted to fine tune it for the demo, but if we did work on this project in the future, that would definitely be something we'd want to expand more on, and kind of increase the types of questions and frequencies of questions that you could get.
Yeah, I could definitely see it being applied in like a corporate world. I think the only limitation is like the object detection right now, but you might not even want that for like corporate trading or something.
I mean, one would think that, particularly in the healthcare side of things, that whatever the object detection would have to be isolated. It could
Yeah.
be to the full world. Just because of the nature of the data that you're dealing with.
Yeah, but it would be like advantageous because you wouldn't have to manually make the questions yourself for like a training video.
Well,
it would be.
That was one of the thoughts. Yes.
Yeah.
Considering the pace that some of these studies are spun out of that, to be able to engage it. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's very compelling for the use that you come up with, but when I saw it, I was like,
Yeah. How do you go about adding new videos for, like, if I am actually using this once I finish watching all 5 videos, then like, how do I do that?
Yeah, that was one of the features that was kind of brought up a few weeks ago. So we didn't really have much time to implement, but one of the issues that we had was having it stored in an S3. I think it was definitely helpful because I manually put it in the MP4 files of each video, added it to the S3, and then it uses that. And then that allows it to take a screenshot of the video and everything. When I attempted to use the YouTube implementation and just giving it the YouTube link, playing it on that video, playing on the website, and making the screenshots, there's actually security restrictions that won't let me take screenshots of it. So it was actually something that was required for us to actually just get the screenshots straight from the S3 bucket and not being capable of using it for YouTube. So going through that whole process, and especially because we were making sure we minimize the amount of setup that we needed for local deployment, we just kept it as the static 5 videos, as there was a lot of errors and debugs that we had, as in like making sure we can get a pipeline to download the transcript, and then having ChatGPT, then that would be another ChatGPT prompt for it to determine the intervals based on the transcript for the questions to pop up. So that was stuff that we were attempting to implement, but it just seemed like it was such a risk late in the product that we couldn't implement it correctly. If we had time in the beginning, I definitely would have done that instead.
At least for the security restrictions, like when you watch a YouTube video, all of the packets are being streamed to your over the network, right? So you could just read those and reconstruct the video by yourself, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm also thinking like if we had more time to do it, we could have also just created like a pipeline where we like just use like a YouTube to MP4 downloader and then upload the videos to the S3 bucket and then just kind of add them to the page and have like a whole pipeline for that. That's kind of what we did, like essentially, but we just did it manually. If we had automatic setup for that, that could be another way. Like it would be like not legal, like to be downloading those videos, but like we could do that.
Yeah, also since this application was supposed to be targeted for kids, we wanted to pick videos that would be educational. And if we had this platform, we definitely also want to include some sort of vetting process to kind of vet the types of videos that would be input in here. And also, sometimes like the cartoons don't really work as well for the object detection, so we wanted to allow users to upload their own videos. I think we'd also want to put some sort of like security screenings in there and maybe like copyright issue things, that stuff. But definitely something that we would think about if we wanted to iterate more.
Yeah, so like when you guys had like all the videos uploaded on your own, I was under the assumption that they generate them once and just like reuse those, but you regenerate them each time. So I guess like a very random question, but like if one person went through one video, did all the multiple choice ones and the visual ones, like is there like an estimated cost for like one watch?
The way the models are priced in today's society is, I think, on like a lower scale, like how we're presenting it now, LLMs are super cheap. So, like maybe a video is not even like a run through's not even a cent.
That's impressive.
Yeah. On an enterprise scale, I think that's something we can look at more. But for our use case, and especially like the research use case, it's not And was it something that we thought was super challenging?
Another thing too, just to note, I did put in the beginning, like beginning of March, when I created the OpenAI platform account, I put $5 in it. When I checked it a few days ago, I have $3.47. So, I mean, we did a lot of question generations. So to only use $1.53 out of that whole, during that whole process, it was surprising to me how cheap it was. At least in this small scale project that we had.
That's great.
Great job. We're gonna move to the next demo, but yeah, this was a definite. It's really nice to see all of this project really like come together and see that progress. So yeah, great job. Wait, that is me? I was trying to click it. I was actually trying to click it, and I was like, oh man, thank goodness that didn't happen. There's just like a security update.
Yes. Is there any way we could fit that PC up there? Wait, what are we doing?
Oh, no, it's one of the plugs. It's okay. I'll just use mine.
What? Does that work?
Yeah.
Does it stay?
I can just hold it.
You sure?
I wouldn't put your keyboard on top of mine. It's making all sorts of interesting sounds.
All right.
Can we move it?
You okay with that? Yeah, it's kind of stuck there.
No worries.
All right.
Yeah, we can just.
There's another.
Yeah, we'll just use that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I guess. Who wants to introduce?
Go on the chat screen first.
I'd like I could hold it.
Yeah, you can hold it for me. Good afternoon, everyone. We are Project Feedstack. My name is Omar Shaker.
I'm Josh.
I'm John.
I'm Jason.
I'm Jonathan Augustine.
I'm Jack Wiley.
We're really excited to share Feedstack with all of you. So, what is Feedstack? Feedstack is an AI-powered tool that helps designers get clear, organized feedback on their website designs without losing the flow of natural conversation. So the problem today is getting design feedback today is often messy. It's either too overwhelming or too scattered to be useful. Feedstack fixes this by giving designers the perfect balance between unstructured, natural conversation that feels real between an expert designer while also providing unstructured feedback, giving the user the best of both worlds. Now, let's give you a closer look into how a user might actually use Feedstack.
Hey, Omar.
Hey,
I
Jonathan.
have this portfolio, and it's been giving me a little bit of trouble with recruiters.
What's wrong? What's wrong? What's going on with it?
Well, I built it to get a job and impress recruiters, and I uploaded a few of my projects, and I made a solid bio. But I think I need some tips on how to improve the design of my portfolio.
Just use chat, man.
No, I mean, this is like serious. I can't just chat GPT it. I need you to help me.
All right. I totally get that. You need to have a killer design site to wow these recruiters away. A good portfolio site is a must. I'll help you out.
Thanks. I want to let you know I did try ChatGPT, but I didn't like the response that it gave me. It felt very unstructured and not designer friendly. I need like an expert designer along the way to help me make my portfolio.
All right.
Hello, everyone. I am ChatGPT. Let us see your design.
So this is my portfolio right here that I made. We can see the about me and the projects, and I just needed to give me some help on my portfolio to make it look better.
Typography, hierarchy, Make About Me and projects headings slightly larger or bolder than your name to create a better
This isn't
visual
working.
flow.
This is a textbook. I need something that's design oriented. I need something that is with me along the entire way.
Wait a minute. I got the perfect solution for you. Have you tried Feedstack?
I have not. What the heck is Feedstack?
So, Feedstack is basically an AI-powered design tool that gives you feedback on your web designs. You know, this is exactly what I've been using, actually. It fits exactly what you're asking for. It has that balance of structured and unstructured feedback. I think it's time for an upgrade.
System upgraded. Welcome to Feedstack, where feedback speaks human.
Please clap.
Hey, I think we're off to a good start. Even the AI sounds better.
All right, let's fix your portfolio now.
All right, let's dive into it. So how do we start here?
All right, enter your participant ID.
Sure, let's just enter it in.
All right, just upload your design, your portfolio page over here.
Okay.
Feedstack supports standard file formats, including PDFs, JPEGs, and PNGs. We optimize the upload process so your design stays high quality and ready for analysis.
Thank you, Feedstack. The upload process was very simple. I was a good fan of it. Let's begin the submission. Oh, I see it's analyzing my design with this spinny wheel. Is that what it's doing?
Correct. Feedstack is identifying visual strengths, spotting potential improvement areas, and preparing feedback organized by core design principles such as contrast, typography, balance, and accessibility. This helps ensure that the feedback that you get is structured, targeted, and easy to apply.
Oh, I can see that. I see initial feedback, and my screen completely transformed from the design upload.
Yeah, so what you're looking at is the Feedstack interface. On the left-hand side, you can see your design, so you can constantly reference it while you're talking with Feedstack. And in the middle, that's where Feedstack gives you feedback and answers based on your designs. And on the right-hand side, you have your design principles. So everything is grouped together for easier access.
Oh, lovely. I love the separation in the UI of my portfolio and the design principles and the feedback that I get.
Your layout is clean and straightforward, keeping it user-friendly. Great job. The use of a personal image adds a nice touch and makes the page feel more approachable.
You know, I just realized that initial feedback that I got, I never submitted any prompt for this. So the generated feedback that I'm getting is exclusive to the portfolio that I submitted only. I like that.
Awesome, right? Yeah, it's analyzing your actual layout and your design and your content. It's like you're talking to an expert designer and having a very natural conversation.
100%. So I like the initial feedback, but what's now? Could it possibly be the things beneath the chat?
Yeah, those are the smart suggestions. Click on, it analyzes your uploaded design and generates prompts to guide your feedback. They help surface key design aspects early, keeping your conversation focused and structured.
Yeah, try clicking on one, see what you get.
Yeah, let's click on the first one of how can we adjust the navigation link size to enhance accessibility. And I like how if I didn't know what to ask about my portfolio, Feedstack itself could give me suggestions on what I could like to know about. It's a nice way to get a start.
Yeah, so if you don't know what to ask, you're not lost. It's constantly updating.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's do one more. Let's ask about color contrast. Oh, and while it's generating, I'm seeing some glowing terms that look highlighted. Care to explain those?
Yeah, so those are basically just key design terms that are being highlighted automatically based on design principles.
Feedstack highlights terms such as font size, contrast, and background through real-time keyword mapping. These terms are corresponding to the design principle triggered on the right panel, such as accessibility and contrast.
Okay, so if I'm skimming, I can still see all of the key terms present in my chat logs. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Let's try talking to it more. Maybe about your design. Your site looks a little off color. Maybe talk to it about your background color that you can improve.
I can add some background color to improve. Let's see. Maybe it'll give me some good feedback. Perfect. I see another design principle got created as well.
Yeah, why don't you ask about your font? It's a little too basic looking, don't you think?
Thanks. Okay, it's giving me a lot of feedback on multiple design principles, which I see are on the right-hand side.
Yeah, so try clicking one and finding out.
Sure, let's click on accessibility. So in accessibility, I can see the definition of accessibility, talking about how exactly it is. And then I can see the relation to the design that I uploaded and the key terms present in the chat that are under accessibility. And finally, I think I see one excerpt in there. I'm guessing which came from the chat that I created?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to read the whole thing. It sort of gives you an idea of what the chat was saying.
Okay. Let me get one more chat in real quick to ask about accessibility. How accessible is my image? Should I change? Ignore the typos. Oh, okay.
Feedstack uses contextual analysis to classify each piece of feedback under the appropriate design principle. We analyze the conversation for design-specific language, identify related keywords, and map feedback points to create categories like contrast, typography, and accessibility. This automated classification ensures that feedback isn't random, it's organized logically, making it easier for designers to understand connections between their design decisions and professional critique.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of your feedback being sort of scattered, you're grouped by real design concept, making it easier to actually improve.
I see. So then in the middle, I have this unstructured design-centric feedback. And then on the right, I have this educational feedback about my design specifically and the key terms.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting a balance of both.
Exactly what I wanted in the beginning. I like it. But after I made another thing about accessibility, I noticed this instance popped up. Instance 1 of 2. What does it do with feedback?
Good question. So that's actually part of the instance navigation tool. Whenever a design principle pops up more than once, it creates another instance. So Feedstack groups all these moments together under the same accordion. So you can use these arrows sort of like a book and go through them each time it was mentioned. So you're not stuck hunting through like the whole chat trying to find out where accessibility occurred again. And each time you'll have different key terms and a different excerpt.
Yeah. So if I flip through the instances real quick,
yeah,
I can see that the key terms in this instance are font size, contrast, and touch target area, while in this instance they are different and similar with contrast, alt, text size, and screen readers.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so Feedstack automatically detects and links repeated feedback points by theme, maintaining their original context within the conversation. This allows you to trace how a design principle was discussed across different parts of the feedback session without losing the natural flow of the dialogue.
This is pretty clean. I like it. So I like how I can find instance-related feedback, but how do I go through feedback about my project section in the chat?
So you see that scrub bar over there?
Yeah,
It's sort of
this
like
right here?
Yeah, exactly. So it's sort of like a video playback system for your chat log. You can fast forward, you can rewind, and it shows you different points throughout the scrub bar. So you can hover over to preview or click jump to straight to the spot.
Oh, like these dots right here with contrast and color theory?
Exactly, yeah. There are different design principles that have been mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Each marker is indexed by a feedback timestamp. It lets you jump straight to the exact point without rereading the whole entire thread.
And it actually works. No janky loading. It's very fast and efficient. I like how it's very quick to get to the part that I need to get to.
Yeah. What do you think about those? What do you think those are?
Oh, I see little tabs on the side. I don't know what they are. They look coordinated with the scroll bar, though.
Yeah, so those are basically bookmarks. They're basically automatically bookmarked. You don't have to do anything. It's all tracked for you sequentially. Yeah.
Feedstack automatically bookmarks each feedback entry. All responses are indexed for easy navigation, which means that no manual action is required.
So I don't need to control F through the entire chat log, and I can just search them through this instance navigation. I
Yeah,
like that.
Exactly, yeah. The bookmarks and the scrub bar are exactly for that.
Bookmarks preserve full feedback context and timeline order for seamless review.
Way cleaner than digging through the whole entire history. Yeah, I like everything about this. I think the one thing we haven't touched on is this little blue thing in the top right. Navigate to design principles by appearance and by instances.
That's the quick jump menu. It pulls an index of all the feedback themes so you can prioritize fixes you want to make. When clicked on, it opens the corresponding chat log and design accordion.
Yeah, and if you look at the instances, try clicking on that.
Mm-hmm.
It basically shows you how many times accessibility popped up. So if, it shows you by the highest order. So if accessibility popped up 4 times, it would be there. If color theory popped up 3 times, it would be there. So you could basically pinpoint which design principles you need to focus on.
I'm also noticing that when I navigate to the design principles, like if I go to contrast, it will automatically open up the contrast section and take me to an instance in the chat.
Yeah, so it's basically taking you to the instance chat where contrast was mentioned, and it's opening that accordion as well.
It's a great menu to get everything you need about one design principle in one. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think? After just one session, you got very clear, organized feedback. It's exactly what you were looking for, all mapped out by real design principles. You're going to stun those recruiters now. Just watch.
I hope I do. This is everything I've ever wanted. This is unstructured, expert design level feedback that is natural along with some structured educational feedback on the right-hand side. It's the best of both worlds. Goodbye, ChatGPT. Hello, Feedstack.
Feedstack. Real feedback, real learning, real growth. Thank you.
I'm not forgetting Feedstack. Yeah, I really I at first was like, why is Jason wearing a bandana? I'm really like, I didn't know what to think. So yeah, that was a great surprise. So as far as just kind of like the project goes. Because I know like there was a lot to this that you had to pull together. Like, what were some of the biggest challenges to this project?
So I think the biggest challenge was the keyword highlighting to actually detect which words would match to which design principles. So we used a module called Word2Vec. It sort of detects how close it is in relation to a specific design principle, and it matches it according to that. So if the number is higher, it'll match the color theory. If it's lower, it'll check for other principles where it's higher at, and it'll match to that. So that was probably the hardest one to nail, because we had to get that accurate.
And on the back end, there was also a lot of difficulty with implementing like Firestore tracking. So we all worked on different areas.
Well, I will say that none of us had used Firestore
I
before.
do, I absolutely do. This is illegal. I will go to Congress to have this blocked and taken away because this is just wrong. You're destroying a career here.
You're saying something? Wow. That was dark.
So you see me on the street with more Are you hiring?
Yeah, Feedstack just becomes a monopoly. What was it like taking on because this project was sort of like an existing project before that you guys kind of took on. What were some of the challenges in that, and like, would you even recommend like doing another project where you're kind of just jumping in the middle of a project in Capstone?
Well, I can answer. Well, I think in some sense the Capstone was meant to kind of emulate what a real world like work experience is like. So I do think I appreciate in some sense like being thrown into this environment and having to learn what's already there. I think it helps simulate, but there's also things that maybe that's not documented clearly or that I don't really understand or know that I have to write over, and that led to a lot of problems where we had to bug fix a lot. So actually I think one of the biggest things that we had to hurdle over was understanding what was there before us and then really digging down and being able to fix a lot of these things. One of the biggest things we spent a lot of time on was deployment, and we didn't really understand why, so there was a lot of bug fixing for almost everything.
Yeah, that kind of required us to really go through all the old stuff and just like reconfigure everything. It took a while.
Yeah, I think it's really nice when a part of the project is like already not implemented or half implemented, but when you have a part of the project that's already fully there and integrated with everything else, it's hard to change that and kind of implement anything else new in the project.
Follow-up question, as you said things were poorly documented before. Are they documented now?
Oh yeah, we could do it.
They should be.
They should be.
So a
By the
part
end of
of
tonight.
Ian Applebaum's course is a Docusaurus, which we spend extensive amounts of time doing. So we actually have it hosted on our GitHub. There is a link to the Docusaurus if you want to look further into our documentation.
Sorry, I feel like that was a trap.
Okay.
That wasn't even a question, that was just a trap. Yeah, so so where is this actual like large language model like coming from? Like, is it using GPT or what is sort of the back end of this?
It is using GPT-4o, yeah. And so we're using custom prompting to basically give us this natural expert response. So it took a lot of prompt refinement to get to this stage. It's because initially we would have, Feedstack spit out these responses that sort of felt similar to ChatGPT, those structured, linear, bullet point listed, feedback points. So we had to do a lot of refinement with the prompting, and that's how we got here.
And there's also more than one prompt if I'm correct.
There's multiple different prompts that are, being used.
Would you recommend students like try AI projects like this in the future? Like, was it, did it meet your expectation of challenge, or was it more challenging or less challenging?
I think the most challenging part was the hosting part, because a lot of us did not know how to configure things like the servers, the cores issues, the ports. So this was completely new to all of us. So I feel like in a way it's really helpful to get thrown into, into the pool like this and, actually learn these difficult topics, because it's so important, in the real world. So yeah, I would say these AI projects are very important for like students and stuff to take part in, yeah.
Yeah, I think also this project was like one of my first introductions to like some very important programming concepts like environment variables and like cloud computing, and kind of organizing that and doing all of that for the first time with AI. It felt very nice because AI is already something that's set up and like helps you along the way while you learn these new concepts.
What if the word to that keyword extraction failed? I know in the documentation you guys did mention on manual tagging and a predefined list of keywords.
So that's just a fallback. If it just fails to function altogether, it's gonna just use a prompt from ChatGPT where it's gonna analyze the text and say, hey, which words do you think matches, this kind of principle. That's a fallback method. No, it did not happen.
I was going to ask, like, are you logging those types of failures to see, like, whether different types of documents trigger those kinds of, like, fallbacks?
So initially we were having those errors, but after a lot of refinement of the prompting, like I mentioned, those keyword extractions sort of became more accurate as time went on.
Yeah. So, you've done a lot here to augment the feedback, the text-based feedback. Are there things that you could think about doing in terms of augmenting the visual design itself? Obviously, that's not something we did in this project, but are there ideas that you might have for doing that?
So initially, I was thinking we could have highlights on the image itself, where it would pinpoint where exactly you could change things. Like it could pinpoint the font here and say, this font looks a little too plain. Maybe switch to Helvetica or something like that. But obviously, it's a little more complex than what we were aiming for. It has to analyze the image and look at the text and everything, and we didn't know how to progress forward with that. So, but that's something we could definitely add on to Feedstack with the image recognition and adding highlights right onto the image itself. So, yeah.
And I guess with the scroll bar, you have now 3 ways of navigating the conversation. You've got bookmarks, you've got the scroll bar, and you've actually got another like standard scroll bar.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why you need all 3? Should it just be one?
So actually, I was going off your feedback with the affordances, having the user, multiple options to revisit feedback, to go through different things. So actually, the quick menu bar basically is a different thing altogether. It shows you how many instances are being used, so you can pinpoint which design principle is occurring the most, so you know where to focus on. And if you actually click on any one of them, so if I click on contrast, let's click on something else. Click on color theory, right? It's going to open the accordion and it's going to open the corresponding chat log as well. So the other ones don't do that. They just go back to the chat log. So every feature has like its unique placement in there. So it's like it's not exactly the same thing.
Standard scrub bar, you probably move that though, right?
You can move that, yes. Yeah. Sort of like a video playback, feature.
So I have one suggestion based on Steve's question. Steve actually said that how you can augment something to annotate on visualization itself based on the expectation, right? So you can actually use cassette library that is kind of like polished right now, that can detect different text position and annotate on top of the visualization. So you can use that one. Right now the vision language model are not so good. You cannot probably do or anchor on top of the original visualization, but you definitely can use the cassette library.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, we can talk about that after.
I had one question. For our keyword matching, did you guys try any other models other than word to word?
So we tried the AI agents model in ChatGPT, and it wasn't really working out. It wasn't really extracting any words. So that's why we switched to word to vec. Yeah.
I really got to think of a better question. That is a part of my job.
I solved my problem. Because with the linking capability, you sell ad space on the side, and I can put my
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. If you need an expert designer, please call. Actually, so one thing, and I know it's not necessarily here, but did you think about those moments where maybe you have unstructured feedback from a human, where this chatbot or this method could actually structure that feedback? Because I get a lot of feedback from him that's paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of stuff, and a system like this could really help to pull out those keywords or direct feedback.
That was within our scope.
That's an interesting question, actually, but we could do that, yeah.
I don't think it was within our scope, but I do think that if you gave it paragraphs of feedback, it could probably pull out the design principle terms.
That's what it's designed to do, so you could definitely do that. Yeah.
We could branch out, umbrella, big Feedstack, and one's for text. I feel like it's an actual legitimate thing where a lot of times when you put in essays or whatnot, it could focus too much on one thing. But it'd be nice if you could offset different tasks of looking at specific parts of whatever the writing is, maybe the grammar or the sentence structure or the overall narrative or whatnot. I think it'd be cool if you could make something similar in that way. And I think Feedstack does that for design things, but I think that's a good idea to do that with, even if you're able to put in I guess a corporate email and that's really long and could you summarize the key points of these specific things? I think that would be a cool idea. And even under if we were to think of this as a brand identity or something, take it even further, I think underneath Feedstack that still could, outside of just design, fit underneath one umbrella.
How did you guys test this to kind of make sure that it was giving you these design principles? I see that you have Jonathan's nice little blog here, right? Did you try it with other images or designs? Like, how were you doing that?
Yeah, so we took in, well, I was trying it out with some of the sites that I built, my portfolio sites, and I was just seeing what feedback it was giving. Was it, helpful? Was it just a bunch of text like ChatGPT? So that's how I tested it, if it was actually giving me helpful advice. Based on that, I was measuring how, good it is or effective it is. And that's how we got the idea with using, Jonathan's portfolio site, and then using that as a real world example,
Yeah.
Would you like us to show you, or do we have time?
What the other designs like?
Yeah, we could put in your website or something.
I already know it keeps saying like, oh, it's very playful. I love the use of color. Don't panic looks really good right there. No, it's really good. I mean, it gives valuable feedback. I found like it points me in the right direction. I do kind of feel like, with certain aspects, like especially the fonts and stuff, it's like, it tells me, oh yeah, your use of fonts is like really bad. You should like change that. I'm like, okay, how? And once you ask it, it gets there, which is nice. But then you actually have to do it. You're welcome to.
I do have actually one other question, a real question here. So, and you may have covered this and I missed it, but is there a way to, like, you've gotten to this point with this particular document, what would happen if you say, I'd like to roll it back, maintaining this, and see if I sort of change direction a little bit? As a designer, I do that all the time. I'll make decisions and then go back and or the client will advise me, you worked on the wrong premise here, you focused on the wrong thing. To go back and sort of look at this again. So like, almost like get roll back to a previous level where I was.
Is this on like your design or also with your feedback as well?
Maybe both, frankly.
Oh. Yeah, we were thinking of like, maybe implementing something where you could upload like further iterations of your design and get feedback on that in the same chat. We don't have it yet, but like,
yeah,
if
we
were
didn't
to
have
work on it in the
time
future
to fully integrate that feature. It could have been really ambitious, but we had like about one more sprint left, so it wasn't enough time to.
But it does sound feasible because we have it sort of like, as you can see with like all the navigation of different, like with the scrub bar and whatnot. Like, I think it is feasible for us to be able to store those and then roll it back, so-called, like in that way, if you'd like to.
Are any of you guys thinking of continuing this project like after the semester is over, or?
I would love to. Like Steve was saying, any other augmentations that you could do. The image thing sounds really cool, and Rahad was mentioning there's like a new model that could detect these things, and you could like sort of highlight what's wrong with it so that you have a more visual sense of what's going on with the design. So yeah, I would love to work on it.
Are there any other questions? All right. Well, great demo day. We still have demos here at 3:30 to 4:50, so you're welcome to come back for that.
Good job, guys.
Later this afternoon. Help yourself to cupcakes. They're there. They're free. They're free cupcakes. But yeah, you've all done such a really great job and really tackled these rather tough projects. So I wish you luck in wherever you go, whether it's industry, grad school, wherever you go. Maybe we'll work together again in the HCI lab or somewhere else. So I look forward to it. So great job, guys, and I'll see you at graduation.